Welcome to Strategize This. I'm Angela. So I want to take a moment in this video to show you what I did to get through my first 2 years of camping. I want to capture all of my hacks. I have already gone to New Hampshire at the time you see this video and picked up my Project M. And it took me about 8 months to save up for it. I've been waiting for about 5 months for delivery, and the long wait is over. So the unfortunate part of all these adjustments that I made to my truck is that they're all going to have to be undone in order to install the Project M. All right, so let me explain a little bit about the video. You know that I'm an amateur at this. I'm not trying to be a big YouTube influencer. I'm just sharing information that I've accumulated. So when we created the original video recordings, the audio did not capture properly. So all of the audio in this video is having to be recorded after the fact. So just as a warning, this is going to be a long video because I'm going through all the hacks. So get a cup of coffee or a bowl of popcorn, order a pizza or whatever it is you do, because this is going to take a little while. So let me make a few points before we get bogged down in the details. I needed to mimic the experience of overlanding the best I could, but with an eye that some of my gear would ultimately have to be transferred to the Project M. So I had 4 criteria. Of course, all my hacks had to be practical and removable and maybe even transferable. But my main goals were to, 1, be able to stand up all the way inside the tent, 2, be able to sleep across my truck bed lying completely flat, and be able to have a sink in my tent that would drain into a gray tank and allow me to clean up a bit at the end of the day. And finally, that would allow me to have all the amenities that I would have when I finally would get my Project M. So you'll see in this image that I'm using a Kodiak canvas truck tent model 7211. They do have larger tents for full-size trucks with 8-foot beds, and I think 6-foot beds as well. Okay, so this image is a picture of my truck set up in a campground at Lum's Pond in Delaware. I am meeting a group of friends up there probably 2 or 3 times a year, and that's just a really great place and a popular place for them to meet. So, like I said, I'm using a Kodiak canvas tent. The model number is 7211, which fits 5-foot beds. They have larger tents for full-size trucks with 8-foot beds. In addition, you can see that my field office is under my ARB Touring Awning that measures a little bit over 6 by 8, because I do have to work when I'm on the road, and I use my screen room as my field office. It also includes, the awning also includes its own strip of lights that you can set to warm amber color or bright white. So together with my tent, I have just under 70 square feet to live in while I'm out camping, and the longest period of time that I've been out, I think, is about 6.5 weeks. So I love the Kodiak canvas tent because it can be air conditioned or heated. The Kodiak canvas tents are incredibly durable. I've been through some pretty bad storms with no leaks. They weather the wind well. They're pretty easy to repair if you puncture or do like I do, and I sliced into it a little bit on accident. My coldest night out in this was about 35 degrees, and I was easily able to heat the tent up to about 67 degrees, which is my preferred indoor temperature, and there was no condensation with the electric heat. So now it's going to get rough because I am going to try to record the audio as I am watching it. So my gestures on the video are not going to match the audio for reasons I've already explained. Okay, so what you're looking at here are the bed risers that I built. They're just made out of residential 2x4s. I needed to be able to stand up under the tent in the back of the truck, which meant I had to elevate those track rails. My friend Matt helped me cut curves into the 2x4 so they would match the contour of the truck, painted them with black matte exterior paint, added cleats. These are just marine grade boat cleats. Pick them up at Lowe's. And then this just gave me the opportunity to lift tent rails, which I'll show you in a second, 4 inches off the bed rail so that I could stand up inside the tent. These bed risers were connected directly to the frame of the truck bed with carriage bolts. So you have to look at where the holes are in your truck bed and then go ahead and attach that. Now, you're taking a look at the tracks for the Kodiak tent right now. My friend Doug helped me drill into these, and so we permanently attached the Kodiak bed rails to, or the Kodiak tracks directly to the truck bed rails, just with regular metal screws. And what this allowed me to do was drive down the street without having to constantly reattach those cracks with C-clamps when I got to the campground. So that became a really important thing. Now, if a storm was coming, I would go ahead and I would put D-clamps from the tent tracks through the risers all the way down to under the lip of the bed truck on the inside to make sure that we had plenty of strength. But for just driving around town, that was fine just the way it is. I will interject here that the picture that you saw before I got started on this was a picture of a lake. That is actually a private farm in Ivor, Virginia, that is a private campground. So you have to know somebody to get in there. Okay, so what we're looking at here is my cargo carrier, which opens up to the right, which I'll show you a little further along in the video. This was built by Stowaway 2 cargo carriers. I needed some extra space. I needed a space for my gray tank, and you can see the gray tank on the passenger side of that cargo carrier. So I needed space for that. I also wanted to have a box that had all of my things that I needed as soon as I arrived at camp, like my tie downs and my screen room carpet and my tent pegs and all of that. In addition, this is where I would also keep my firewood when I would buy local firewood. So also, I loved having this rack because when I would leave camp, I could put my camp toilet right on the camp rack and put it on the cargo carrier, take it right to the dump station and get rid of it. So originally, now what you're looking at here is how you open it up. You've got to turn that bolt about 19 or 20 times, and then you'll see me pull up on that orange lock, and then it just swings out. There's a pin there that you just kind of stick in the frame, and it keeps it from bouncing around or swinging unexpectedly. Okay, so what you're looking at here is an overview of my tonneau cover and the solar panels. I made my own solar blanket. We're going to go into that next. The one that I was looking at to purchase was $1,600, and I didn't want to buy that. Okay, so you're looking at my solar blanket, and what I used as a base was just marine grade vinyl that I picked up from Joann Fabrics. This was pretty, it was expensive, but I didn't need to buy that much because I was just basically looking for a 4.5 by 4.5 piece of fabric. I went with marine vinyl because it's washable, it's antifungal, antibacterial. It has a -10-degree cold crack rating. It's flame retardant, anti-mildew, all the important things. It's durable to 50,000 double rubs, and it passed UV testing to 300 hours and has a 43 mil thickness. So it's pretty impressive material. And so what I did is I put grommets in it and kind of hemmed it all the way around so that I could run tie downs through it, and also my python locks if I needed to lock them in place. So I attached them. You can see the little bolts. I attached them with little bolts and lock washers. I put the head of the bolt on the underside so it wouldn't cut into my tonneau cover. I used BougeRV Yuma 100-watt CIGS panels, which you can actually roll up 360 degrees. They're pretty cool, very durable. I'll put a link to a video from HoboTech that will do the durability, that he does an excellent job on the durability test and explaining, how strong they are. So I won't try to, duplicate that effort. He does a great job at that, and I'll link that in the comments. You definitely want to watch that video if you're looking for durable solar panels. So you can see it just kind of slides on the top of my tonneau cover. Then when I'm going down the street, I pull that cargo net all the way to the tailgate. Make sure that my cables, my solar cables and everything are pushed into the bed of the truck. And then when I shut the tailgate, everything locks in. And I think that's most of the important stuff that you need to know about those solar panels. You don't need to worry about water or rain or anything else. And even though I kept that cargo net there for protection to make sure that those solar panels didn't flare up or rise up when I'm going down the highway, I never had a problem with that. I never saw them lift or anything like that. And like I told you, the ones that you can buy on the internet, they're about $1,600. I didn't go that route. I just bought my solar panels, the vinyl carpet, the grommets, all of that. And I think by the time I got it all done, including the solar panels, I had it done for $600 or something. It was very, very reasonable for what I needed it to do. And then as I'm moving from one campsite to another, it's charging my solar panels. I mean, it's charging my power station, which I keep on the back of the truck on the driver's side. Also, I set those solar panels up in a serial configuration, not parallel. The power station that I have is a Dabbsson 2300 Plus. I love it. It's very reliable. I've used it in pretty cold temperatures and haven't had any problems with it failing to charge or anything like that. It's a lithium iron battery, which tends to perform better in colder temperatures. Even though I never needed a cargo net, this is may freak you out. So these things only weigh about 7 pounds, and I just pull it off the back of the tonneau cover and throw it on the ground. I've walked on it. You need to watch the review on HoboTech because he really durability tests them, and he's pretty fun. Okay, so now we're looking at the tonneau cover itself. I installed this because I got tired of using a tarp to cover all my stuff. So I just learned to pack all my gear low. I just installed a roll-up tonneau cover. You'll notice the frame of my bed is in the back, which is that aluminum thing sitting at the front. I can take that tonneau cover, roll it up, and just roll it right up under the bed. And so that takes care of keeping everything dry when I hit a storm. And what I've got my hand on, my right hand is the lock. And there we're just rolling it up. And you can see how as I roll it up, it stays beneath the height of the bed frame. So let's talk about the bed frame. It is actually a Harbor Freight, oh my gosh, I can't remember what they're called. It's a racks, loading racks that you can put on your tailgate. You can actually like drive your lawnmower or your ATV up into the bed of your truck. That's a trifold. Each section is 15 inches. And I used bunkie boards with it. But that allowed me to sleep left to right under the canvas tent. So that just sat on the risers, and I unfolded it. It went a little bit, my bed's 5 feet. That would have opened up to 45 inches. I did have to have my nephew Tyler cut the, they had some loading brackets that attached the tailgate at one end, and he cut those off. He also cut off the safety chain so that it would fit completely under the tent without damaging the tent. And it opens up. So that's pretty cool too. And you have to have bunky boards because the way you can't see it from this direction, you may have seen it from the earlier perspective. You have there it's set up like a ladder, so it's not, you couldn't sleep directly on it with your mats, but put a bunky board on it and you're fine. I secured it to the truck cleats with some Velcro ladder tie downs that I bought off of Amazon, and I'll put the links in the comments there. And that was actually pretty comfortable. I used just a regular board before, but that warped too bad over that 6-week camping trip, so I got rid of that. Okay, so you see I'm pointing out 2 bolts there. And the bolts have 2 washers. And I bought a cheapy imported plastic sink that is basically used to attach to a wall. And so what I did is, instead of bolting the sink to the wall, I just bolted it to the risers. And when I get to my campsite, I can actually slide the sink down on those bolts. And then I've got a drain, it has a drain. It's already pre-drilled. I'll put the link in there. I got it off of eBay. And then I got just a regular bilge pump hose from Lowe's. They do carry them. They don't keep a lot of them in stock at one time. They usually have like 3 or 4. So when I see them, I buy 2 or 3 of them so that I can keep extra ones in stock. And then you see that's on the passenger side of the truck bed. So then it would run right into the drain into the gray tank on the back of the truck. Okay, so those are Rhino Rack Vortex bars, and they have served me well. And the ARB awning is on there, the ARB Touring Awning, and that is a 6x8. So this is Super Crew truck. So that fit quite nicely over it. What I really liked about that awning is that it actually has a zipper inside the back side of it, so that I can actually get in the car, get in the truck from the screen room. I guess that has more to do with the screen room than the awning, but that's pretty quick and easy setup. So the awning is going to move to the Project M, and they're going to take off the back Vortex bar and leave the front one so I can put some bar lights on it. But the back Vortex bar, they're going to take off, because when they do when they attach the Project M is going to extend over the back seat of the truck. That touring awning is great. And the Rhino racks, I've actually had to put a warranty claim in on a problem that I had with one of them, and Rhino rack was great to do business with. They're a little pricey, but it's definitely worth it because they stand behind their products. Okay, so this is the end of this video. This explains most of my hacks.